time now for our brand launch and your welcome on behalf of the chairman. And I invite Peter Tighe to the stand. Peter is the long-standing chair of EOS Training Standards and has been a director since for the last 17 years. He's also the National Secretary of the Communications, Electrical and Plumbing Union, the CEPU, and director of 5 other industry-related bodies. Would you make him welcome? Peter Tighe.
Thanks very much, Phil, and thank you very much, Ted, for that wonderful introduction to the history of Alice Springs. And my role is to welcome you all to our conference on behalf of the board and Bob and the team. The board just gives some direction about where the conference is supposed to take place, and then Bob and the team put it all together. If it's successful, it's because the board made the decision. If it's not successful, it's because Bob and the team didn't do the right thing in relation to the organisational side of it. And you will note that there are many new faces walking around with Energy Skills Australia T-shirts on and shirts. We now have a staff of 35. They're not all here at conference, as you would understand. We actually have to keep double the eyes ticking over, using the old terminology. And Bob last night launched our new name and logo. You'll note that it's not too different from the old logo, but we've lost an E somewhere in the process. And it's really to indicate to all those people, nationally and internationally, that we are the peak body for energy skills training advice in relation to the Australian and international scene. We've had a very busy year over the last 12 months. We've got over 200 people at this conference, slightly down on what we had last year in Cairns, but I think that's because whilst it's a beautiful place, Alice Springs, it is a little bit remote. There's not too many flights that come in here, but I'm pleased to see that we still were able to get over that magic trigger of 200. I think it's very important that people come along and participate in the pre-conference program and during the conference itself. Over the next 12 months, you'll get a lot of information flowing from EEIs. There's going to be a presentation in relation to something that's been generated over the last 12 months, which will be a groundbreaker in changing the apprenticeship system in the energy area over the next 12 months, and hopefully will enshrine into apprenticeship training a new template, a new system which will modernise the apprenticeship system in the energy area. It's a bit of a mouthful. It's the Energy Industry Apprenticeship Progression Management System. We have something over $20 million worth of Commonwealth funding to put this in place. It's going to mean an extra 2,000 apprentices coming in under that program over the next couple of years. These apprentices are going to be mentored. They're going to be quality assured all the way through the process. They're going to move away from the old first year, second year, third year and fourth year of apprenticeship to phases, and it's all going to be based on the level of competency which will be quality assured assessed to make sure that we have apprentices coming through the system who are the best apprentices that possibly can be generated by the industry. There'll be a lot more detail on that as the conference progresses, but I want to congratulate Bob and the team in preparing the submission and winning that contest with government. There was a lot of work that was put into it. We've now got it up and running. We have Morris Graham that's running the team that's specifically focused on that project, and Morris will present shortly. But I think it's a coup for our Industry Skills Council. The fact that the government came to us reflects the track record that we've had out there in industry as being able to deliver when we have a project and we're actually undertaking something. We deliver on time, meeting the project criteria and acquitting to government in relation to total expenditure. That's why we now have a staff of 35, because we've got actually 20 odd projects running at the present time, including the one I've just touched on. Our role is making sure that the skills in our sector are basically second to none, and I think we've gradually got to that level, and I think Bob and the team need to be congratulated for that. We've got some very interesting speakers over the next 2 days. A good friend of mine from Ireland is going to speak about international skills, and Eamon, who will be speaking, hosted Bob and I when we were looking at the skills that are in place for our energy sector in the Republic of Ireland, and very impressive as it was. We also have Melissa McEwen from TRA, who is the senior public servant that looks after that area, who's also been looking at ensuring the standard for people coming in from overseas reflects what the industry expects in Australia. And you would be naive if you hadn't seen the discussions in the paper about bringing skilled workers in from overseas and what criteria would underpin that. Our role is to make sure it doesn't undermine what we've got in our own system, and of course it's one of the responsibilities that the ITAB has in relation to ensuring skills and qualities for our sector. Tonight, as you're aware, we have our dinner, and that's where it brings me to in relation to sponsorship. Sponsored by the Master Electricians, I think. I hope I'm not wrong with that. But whilst Phil touched on the sponsors, I actually have to name them all, Phil, because that's part of my responsibility. And I wanted to thank the National Electrical and Communications Association, who's a platinum sponsor for our program, the Master Electricians Australia, who are likewise a sponsor at a platinum level, and also the Canberra Institute of Technology. All those are major sponsors, and if we didn't have those people, we wouldn't be able to run the conference at that level. At a goal level, ActuAGL is a major sponsor in that area, and ZETA, which is the Australian-New Zealand Energy Alliance, which, if you don't know of ANZETA, it's the group that reflects the group training companies that operate in Australia. They've had a long connection with our New Zealand colleagues, and I've been lucky enough to attend some of their meetings. Energex, who's been a long-term sponsor of our conferences. Again, thank you to Energex, Holmes Glen TAFE, and NECA at a chapter level in South Australia are also a gold sponsor for our program. At a silver level, we have RMIT University, who've got a booth out there, so if you want to talk to them about how they can provide training to your organisation, take that opportunity. Nortop and Associates and the Electrotechnology and Energy Advisory Board are also silver sponsors. And finally, Tighe, e-profiling and Energy Skills Solutions, who are also sponsors at a bronze level. Thank you very much. Your assistance is greatly appreciated, and without your assistance, as I said, we wouldn't be able to run the conferences every year that we do. Just on the question of diversity, and you would remember that this conference is about energising diversity. EEIs has been very, very good over the last couple of years in putting together programs to allow our Indigenous brothers and sisters to enter into the energy industry. There's a lot of work that has to be done in that level because of the issues of the levels of entry into that area. Pre-vocational tuition is part of the process, but we've worked with a number of major industry companies in the electricity supply industry, and my own organisation has had a couple of projects which have assisted Indigenous young people to come into the energy area in relation to line and cabling work in northern Queensland and the Northern Territory, and likewise in Western Australia we've had another program running. As Phil's introduced me, I am the Secretary of the CEPU, and we have a plumbing division, and our plumbing division likewise runs programs to sponsor Indigenous people into industry, so they've got a worthwhile skill to take back to their own people and make sure they're self-sufficient in running their own operations at the end of the day. They actually bring people down from the Northern Territory, sponsor them and mentor them in Melbourne to undertake plumbing trade work and then take them back to their own communities. And they've been very successful programs. We could do more, of course we can, and I think EEIs, or Energy Skills Australia, is at the forefront in assisting that process, and we've got some presentations in relation to that this afternoon, and I think the board's very proud of the work that we've done in that process. So I just wanted to, again, welcome you all. I wanted to specifically thank Bob and the team. Bob, like me, gives them directions, but the team, Melissa and the young ladies that have worked on putting the stuff together, and a number of the Energy Skills Australia personnel who chaired and assisted the National Technical Advisory Groups that met yesterday, and the tax. I want to thank them for their effort, and I think it augurs well that this body continues to be recognised as what I would see as the premium Industry Skills Council in Australia. So again, welcome. Have a good time tonight. Don't forget, and I'm sure Phil will touch on it, that we are getting buses to the dinner venue, and you need to be on those buses. If you missed a bus, well, you've missed a bus. And my final comment is that whilst I understand the capital cities are equidistant from us, I'm also told that the beaches are equidistant. So if you're going to go to a beach, you can grab a beach towel, take a big picnic lunch, because they tell me it takes a while to get there. But you can go north, south, east or west, and you'll eventually hit a beach. Okay. Thanks very much for your time and your patience, and welcome, and have a good conference. Thank you.